We are a new team. We didn't expect to be here already.
It is definitely TSM's chance of redemption.
사람들이 저희 보고 좀 어렵다고 많이 평가하더라고요. 근데 그 평가가 저희 팀이 있어서기 때문에
我觉得会压力其实挺大的，因为挺多人都会看着我们是小组第一嘛。
저희들이 가야 되는 목표는 여기에 있고 저희는 딱 이 바로 앞에 있는데 저희가 엄청나게 큰 문제를 해결해야 되는 건 아니에요.
이번이 마지막이라고 생각하고 도전을 했는데 이뤄져서 너무 좋아요.
我们队伍的粉丝们都希望我们队伍在这比赛取得冠军。
Qualifying for Worlds was the biggest goal we had for this year, and we did it. We just want to perform for our teammates. We don't want to perform for anything else.
The hometown heroes strike first blood. Cloud9, they will take down the #1 team from the LMS.
Depp gets himself 3 kills in 4 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Le Doc Pullman in Paris, France, where after just 1 day of competition, the 2015 League of Legends World Championships are in full swing. And as you can see, the fans are just as excited today as they were yesterday for another 6 full games of action. And just moments ago, Dyrus and TSM were readying up for the first game of the day. They'll be facing off against KT Rolster, who are also getting into gear at the last possible moment. Origin will follow them on stage, and there, of course, you see Aranea and Xpeke going over last-minute strats. Here we see Koma and Marin. They'll be showing up a little bit later in the day, so just relaxing as of right now. Everyone's eyes are on the big prize, the Summoners Cup. And we've got another action-packed set of games coming your way today. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, joined on the analyst desk by Aiden Zyrene Moon today. Welcome.
Thank you. Hopefully my contributions are more than just a sexy turn at the telestrator today. I'll try my best.
I like to hear that. I like to hear that. We're shooting high today. Christopher Monte Cristo Michaels, good to have you back.
It's great to be back, and I'm just really excited about finally seeing those Group D games today for the first time.
Very much so. And, of course, Jacob Yamato Cannon Mebdi looking sharp, my friend.
Battle cruiser operation, huh?
There it is. Well, our 16 teams from around the globe continue to fight for position today as the world's group stage unfolds. Yesterday's opening day left us with a lot to talk about, with some strong showings across the field of teams. First up, we had Fnatic with a decisive win over the LPL's Invictus Gaming.
Like, I would say it was very decisive, but IG had such a poor performance. I think I wouldn't give Fnatic too much. Even though they look strong, I wouldn't say they were super dominant.
But they did look prepared for their opponent. If we look at how they played the map, they were targeting the weak members, Kid and Kitties, constantly catching Kitties Thresh out. And that's a great way to defeat IG because we know that that is their weakest part of the map.
But we also talk about the inconsistencies of IG, where if Kakao is just going to farm all game, he did 888 damage on Skarner in that entire game, which is the lowest out of any jungler in summer in the world of 658 games.
I think it's also very fair to say
just
that
not relevant.
It's like, I think it's very fair to say that IG's draft was very poor coming into this. I think that Skarner had no place blind picking it because Azir completely destroyed that. Paired with the Riven.
Which is,
well, not a record you want to hold there as Kakao, but, to Monty's point about Fnatic, being prepared for the team that they're facing is, and getting that first win is all important here, especially as we're through the group stages with only 6 games determining whether or not you make it out. Next up, though, we had C9 upsetting AHQ to start 1-0.
Well, I think Yamato and I have to eat some crow on this one, obviously, for our predictions.
Otherwise, I was going to force it down your throats.
But this game in particular, C9, when we talked about how they could win, it was through the shot calling. They seemed to understand how to play their composition, and they sieged very well. That said, I'm still not convinced about C9 because Mountain decided that this would be a great time to play his first Rengar game from the entire summer season up until this point, and he was terrible. I mean, there's no nice way to put this. That was some abysmal Rengar play. They had to win their solo lanes in order to win that game. Otherwise, their lack of wave clear was going to be supremely punished. So that happened. It was a very quick win for C9, but I need to see more from C9 before I am truly convinced.
I feel like they helped everybody else out in the group, too, against AHQ. Ban Rek'Sai, ban Elise, pick Elise Sin, and you might force him to pick that Rengar again. He does still have Gragas up his sleeve, but they also looked extremely confused by Veigar. They didn't seem to know what Event Horizon did.
Yeah.
I have to add that I was positively impressed. I'm just comparing this Cloud9 to the one that we had in Gauntlet. Now, I think there was some improvement there. I think they did a very good draft coming into AHQ, but AHQ, I was very disappointed. Very, very disappointed.
And with C9, yeah, I was very disappointed too. And with C9, I'm now wondering, because if we can compare this C9 to the Fnatic that came into MSI, in the playoffs for EU LCS during that spring season, they were doing all kinds of wacky stuff that didn't make sense. You know, the teleport smite top lane Lee Sin. They really didn't look good into MSI, but they adjusted and they look strong there. Is Cloud9 a similar story? That's my question going forward.
Well, it's clear they've put in some work during their boot camp. We're going to push us forward to Group C, where things are going mostly to chalk. EDG, SKT starting off strong in dominating fashion. And if we move beyond that, there were some interesting trends from day one in pick ban. We had Mordekaiser, Lulu, Elise, Gangplank, and Darius all finding themselves in that 100% pick ban.
Yeah, I think that these are champions that are going to continue to be up there. But the one that I think should be up there as well is Fiora. I feel she's extremely powerful, but she kind of got through pick and bans and nobody went after her as much. I know base stats have been reduced, but she's still a huge powerhouse. We saw Marin take it and absolutely destroy a game in the mid game with some skirmishes. I think she's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I, for one, will represent Crumb's opinion, who's not on the desk, and he feels very similarly that Fiora is being underrepresented so far at Worlds.
I have to say, what I'm looking forward to is, like, in the playoffs, I think teams will potentially make these very hard trades coming in from the purple side, where, like, we will see all these OP champions come through simply because of the purple side. You get 2 picks. I'm excited for that because I don't think anyone has the courage to do it in the group stage because it's very scary in best-of-1 scenarios to just get dominated by, for example, a Fiora.
All right, well, with each team in Groups A, B, and C having played once, here's how they stack up. In Group A, North America's Counterlogic Gaming and Korea's Coup Tigers are 1-0 over Flash Wolves and Pain Gaming. Fnatic and Cloud9 are on top in Group B over the LPL's Invictus Gaming and AHQ from the LMS. And in Group C, SK Telecom and Edward Gaming bested Europe's H2K and international wildcard Bangkok Titans. Of course, with 42 games left to play in the group stage, there's still much to be decided and anything can happen. Now, the competition continues in just a few minutes between Korea's 3rd seed, KT Rolster, and the North American LCS team, TSM, in today's first clash for dominance in Group D. Then the LPL's LGD will face Europe's Origin, and later today, the LMS's Flash Wolves will take on Korea's Coup Tigers.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that first matchup here, KT versus TSM. TSM people are saying, oh, they've boot camped a lot. What do they have now? But KT is a crazy team. I honestly think they're the 2nd best team in Korea, even though they came out as the 3rd seed.
You've spoken to some of the inconsistencies of KT, though, Monty.
Yeah, one thing that we have to remember about KT is, yes, they did have an 8-1 streak in best-of-3s to close out the season after they put Peekaboo on their starting roster. But over that 8-1 period where they only lost to SK Telecom, they also dropped games in best-of-3s to the 3 lowest-ranking teams in Korea. So I'm sort of the opinion that anything can happen with this team in a best-of-1 scenario, and if they don't get ahead early, they often don't get ahead at all.
I'm just trying to picture Someday versus Dyrus. And
man, that's
I don't think
a little too graphic.
I was going to say, you won't have to picture it for much longer. We're almost into game. Group B, of course, has the day off, so we'll see them on the Rift tomorrow. And throughout today's games, we'll be fielding your questions about the World's group stage, so hit us up with the hashtag AskTheDesk, and we'll see what you want to know a little bit later today. Now, before we kick it to the casters for Game 1, let's see how you guys are calling it. Irene, I got to start with you, KT Rolster or TSM?
I got to go with KT on this one. You know, as much as I want to see Dyrus versus Someday, I think it's pretty much just going to be Someday the entire time because Dyrus is just going to be in the base dead.
This is a really interesting matchup for me because we probably have the biggest mismatch in favor of TSM in that mid lane, Nagne versus Bjergsen, but Peekaboo will gank mid lane as support at level 1, and so they put a lot of emphasis on getting Nagne ahead. TSM has to have a plan to shut down Peekaboo and score. SKT showed how to do it. Can they execute? I don't think so. I think it's KT, but I do believe that there is an upset potential here.
All right, finally, Yamato.
I don't think anyone but delusional TSM fans would pick TSM in this matchup.
Strong words, my friend. You had strong words about C9 yesterday, saying they were going to go 0-6 in groups off of the first day. You sure you want to be starting the day off with bold statements like that, my friend?
It's like maybe I'm doing North America a favor. Maybe I'm jinxing it all over the place.
There it is. All right, that's how we will take it. All right, well, the stage is set, and we're about to step inside the arena for Game 1. As we go, TSM's story has changed from a team that has dominated the North American region to a group that's looking to prove they are still a force to be reckoned with.